The Buddhist way says, do not dwell on the past nor dream of the future, but rather concentrate on the present. Stay in tune with your senses, alive here in the land of 1,000 smiles in Thailand, where the sweet taste of victory is within reach for the young men who've navigated Amata Spring south of Bangkok. One round to go, with Big Bo Jin of China trying to forge the Jin dynasty at the AAC after his brother won 7 years ago. Also contending, Min Hyuk Song of South Korea, who learned at the hand of the great KJ Choi. Then there's the 54-hole leader Harrison Crowe of Australia, looking to reestablish his country's greatness in this event. Easy to look ahead, given what's at stake, an invitation to the Masters and a spot in the Open. Can they stay in the moment? The biggest one of their lives. It's the final day of the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. The Asia Pacific Golf Confederation, in partnership with the Masters Tournament and the R&A, proudly present the 2022 Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. Amata Spring Country Club sparkling on a pleasant Sunday afternoon in the heart of Southeast Asia. We're in the industrial city of Chonburi, club built in 2005. It was designed by Lee Schmidt, who worked with Jack Nicklaus on projects in the Pacific region. 23 major champions, women and men, have competed here, including Tiger Woods in a skins game 12 years ago. Temperatures in the high 80s, sunshine. Of course, that took heavy rain in the last month is drying out, features a spectacular and nervy finishing stretch with that floating green, a par 3 17. 13th playing of a championship that has produced Hideki Matsuyama and Cam Smith, among others. Rich Lerner with Frank Nobilo has been on the call for this event since 2012. 15 times a winner around the world. Former world #1 amateur Colt Knost. Paul Gow of Australia played the PGA Tour. He's out there as well. And Amanda Renner will have some interviews and stories as we move along. Take you out to the leaders, and this is Harrison Crowe. He's given a couple of shots back, having started with the lead. Bogeys at 1 and 4, and now he's in the role of chaser, and Colt Knost is out there.
It has been a stressful day so far for Harrison Crowe. He's got a good 7 feet left for his par. He's made 17 birdies this week, Frank, and 10 of them have been on this first 9 holes, and he's shut out so far today.
Yeah, it's totally different too, Colt. Remember yesterday in that round of 60, 68, I mean, it was bogey-free in those high winds. It was an absolute clinic. So, what was the occasion is a little different today on a Sunday.
The pressure is amped up. Everyone here knows exactly what's on the line, but he cannot afford to drop too many more shots.
That's a great putt. They double cut the greens, so once again they're going to be at a nice speed. Probably the smoothest they'll be all week too.
Picked up about a foot since the opening round. They're running at 11. Just turned 21. Had a really good year in Australia.
This whole Colt, 196 yards today, so it's not all the way back. See what Bo Jin can do here. Also a par putt.
It is not all the way back, but it is still terrifying with that water on the left. Bo Jin hit an incredible chip shot from long and right here. This would be a heck of an up and down.
Which it is.
His touch has been excellent all week. So he backs up birdies at 6 and 7 with a good par save at the tough 8th.
And Song was the only one in the group to hit the green. But if he doesn't make this, he'll be the only one walking away with a 4.
Three hard working pars.
3 bogeys so far for the South Korean, but right now it is Bo Jin with a 2-shot lead. Give you a look at some of the highlights, and right out of the gates, Frank, here is Bo Jin from Oklahoma State.
Well, yesterday was a little hesitant with some of these approach shots, but what a way to start the day. Straight at it, and a guaranteed birdie.
On the other hand, Harrison Crow with some trouble, and this for par.
Yeah, missed the green, and became a two-shot swing on the very first hole of the Sunday.
There's a big story brewing. The Thai superstar, just 15 years old, TK Chantun Nanawat, began 8 off the lead and has charged up the leaderboard, Frank.
Yeah, just in case we thought he was out of it. That for his 7th birdie of the day. So look at this, the stroke is good. So 7 birdies. I know it's offset by 2 bogeys, but what a charge.
That at the 12th, where he ran into some issues yesterday. So 3 consecutive birdies. He's at 10 under and 3 behind. Yuta Suzuki trying to make it 3 of the last 4 winners coming from Japan.
And then at the long par 4, this is a really big bonus from the back of the green. Beautiful stroke by Suzuki. And down it goes.
Wow. Yuta Suzuki. Drop shot at the 8th, but he's at 11 under par, and he's chasing this guy, Bo Jin. Here's Bo at the 6th. Sneaks it in the right side. Trying to go back to back. Frank, here he is, 3rd shot at this par 5-7. This is that touch we talked about.
I mean, good hands. Just lets it go and land on that downslope, and look at the release. And this is really well played. That awkward distance, some 5 or 6 feet. So Bo Jin made another birdie.
If he can finish the job, it would be a 5th AAC title for China.
And the first brother combination. Remember, his brother Chen Jin won when he was 17 back in 2015.
There's been a good showing for the home country, Thailand. They started with 11. Now they have 2 players inside the top 5 as we go to the 9th, and the leader, Jin.
What a brutal hole this is. Back into the wind, water all the way down the left. Oh boy, this one is headed up the very left side, needs a soft bounce.
Ooh, not much to play with there.
It's okay now, Frank.
Yeah. And currently the 2nd hardest hole on the golf course. Not a single birdie at the 9th so far today.
Frank, so much at stake.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of the game's greatest events. I mean, we just celebrated the 150th Open this year at St Andrews, and of course a trip down Magnolia Lane. If that does not get your attention, these boys, we've got to meet them, Rich. They've talked about this all week.
Harrison Crow
Has been struggling with the driver off the tee so far today. And another one lost. This is well right, headed towards the cart path.
Oh, huge bounce.
Every time you ask it not to hit it, it hits it. And he got very fortunate. That bounced out of the tree.
Oh, still very close to the trunk, and that. So obviously a little bit of avoidance. Yesterday lost a few left. Now,
and ahead on the green, this is another young player from China, Wen Yi Ding. He's the reigning USGA Junior Amateur Champion.
yeah, Paul Gow with this group.
Yeah, he struggled a few holes out there, Frank. It's getting a little bit windy. It's up at about 20, and you know these greens are just that little bit slicker. You know, not a cloud in the sky. It's a beautiful day to score, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a good point, Paul. Keep an eye on these greens as they've sped up. It's hard to imagine, Rich. I mean, he's just turned 17. I mean, he's like 6'4", looks like a basketball player. Now back to the tee.
And Hyuk Song.
Nice. Good ball.
This one is right down the center stripe.
They've just got to try and get through this hole unscathed. Then 10, 11, 12, they're all playing under par.
Now Pongsapak Laopakdi.
Yeah, he missed the green left here on his 2nd shot with a bit of a hanging lie in a bad spot, but chipped it to this point, which is the easiest putt on this hole. Back up the hill right to left, he can be somewhat aggressive. Some nice pin positions close to the edges today, just to keep them on their toes.
That's another bogey. So he finishes the front side with 2 straight bogeys after the birdie at number 7. He did make eagle at number 2. In fact, he jumped out of the gates, birdie 1, eagle 2, 3 under through the first 2 holes to announce his presence, but has backed off just a bit. And now Lau Pakti is 4 shots behind. His countryman TK needs to make a few more birdies if he's going to have a realistic shot. This is 3rd.
Yeah, these last 6 holes are playing over par today. TK with his father, who's been on the bag all week today.
Frank, just give people a sense, if they're tuning in for the first time, how accomplished he is at such a young age.
15, I mean, that's what everybody's talked about. But the fact that he's won a professional tournament on a recognized tour.
The Asian Tour.
Exactly. I mean, his club manufacturer's been looking after him since he's 11 years of age. I mean, he's been sort of singled out for stardom. And more because to be honest, he's a complete player. I mean, he's a beautiful little touch there. You see the speed of the greens. He has the right amount of clubhead speed in him at 15. He averages about 117 miles an hour of clubhead speed. That's PGA Tour level.
Back to the 9th.
Suzuki. He'll drift 3 back.
Crow's in some trouble. So for the moment, giving Bo Jin, the leader, a little bit of breathing room.
Breeze is still up again today, Rich, coming from the northeast. That's a similar direction we've had the first 3 rounds. But it's drying out, and that direction is into the player's face, as Colt Knost has just referred to. 2 beautifully placed bunkers. Harrison Crow actually flew that, caught that car path to the right, and that landing zone is ever so close to the water. Second shot's played a little bit uphill, so you can tack on a little bit more yardage, but I really like where they've cut the hole today. It's on that little shelf in the back right corner, so if you overcook it, back bunker is certainly in play today. Come up a little short, and you can see with the direction of those arrows. Tough hole, this and 18, very tough.
Now Harrison Crow.
Guys, I can't tell you how fortunate he was for that ball to bounce out of that tree. I mean, those trees just gobble up golf balls. So I know it wasn't a great tee shot, but he was very fortunate. This from 179 up the hill. Oh, he hit a really low punch shot. It's going to catch the rough and come up quite a bit short.
So missed it on the right with that flag on the right. Need a lot of skill to have any chance of getting that one up and down. Plays at St. Michael's Golf Club. It's in Sydney. So get a lot of wind down there. Bo Jin.
Was very relieved to see that ball ended up in the fairway. And he can absolutely smash it. He's a good 40 yards ahead of his playing competitors. He's got a really nice angle to this back right hole location. As we've seen him do a lot, flighting in nice and low on a great line.
Oh, gorgeous shot.
I love the way he gripped down on that, Frank. Really controlled it.
You've seen him play a lot of that. This one's just gotten even better off the back of that slope. So good chance to perhaps have the first birdie here at the 9th.
And this is 3rd appearance at the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. Never worse than 8th, and was 3rd a year ago. Now TK this for a crucial par at 14, and that's cruel lip out. First bogey on the backside, 3rd of the day, and TK's back to 9 under par. And so it is Bo Jin now starting to stretch it out with a chance to push it to 3 shots here at the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship in the final round.
$120 players teed off at the start of this championship. 54 made it to the weekend. And Bo Jin sits on top, the 20-year-old from China, trying to do what his brother did when he was 17 years of age in Hong Kong, Clearwater Bay. And it would be a first, brothers winning this championship. Certainly not a foregone conclusion. Two-shot lead, especially with the back nine here at Amata Spring to be played. Plenty of water in play. Japan's strong contingent, despite the world number one not playing. It was a little controversial coming in there as coach electing to keep him in Japan. So we got to miss him. Thailand's had a very successful week. TK obviously their strongest player, the highest ranked player in the field, 12th in the world rankings at just 15. But this golf course has certainly been the star this week. The sunshine's come out despite all the rain they had in September. It's the 8th green down there in the back, down in the corner of your screen. It's beautiful lit. And a very difficult 9th on that right side. Those bunkers there that Harrison Crow just avoided. And you turn around, head in the other direction. Beautiful stretch of holes around the lake. So it's not the regular sort of figure 8 routing that we refer to in golf. Consequently, actually, the 4 par 3s on this golf course are all playing into the breeze today. So they're all in a similar direction.
Short of the green here at the par 4 9th, this is Harrison Crow.
50 yards coming up the hill. Ball's not sitting too bad. Oh boy, went with a super flop and went right underneath it. This is going to come up short.
So Crow staring at bogey here. That would drop him to 10. Jin with a chance at birdie. That could mean a 4-shot cushion. Now Suzuki.
Yeah, this wind now howling from the right, and this is going right. He hasn't held onto that. This hole moves from left to right, and they're all trying to take it over the palm trees on the right.
So he's on a bit of a bad run here. Bogeys at 8 and 9 now. Offline here at the 10th. Featured groupings. Pangsapaklau Patki. He's committed to go play college golf at Arizona State. Suzuki, Japan continues to produce, and Wen Yi Ding from China is all the way up to 17th in the World Amateur Golf Rankings. And it's Harrison Crow, and from South Korea, Min-hyuk Song, and Bo Jin, who's at 48, playing his college golf for the legendary program in Stillwater, Oklahoma. He's a proud Hope Cowboys of Oklahoma State. Back to the 9th, and we'll go down with Min-hyuk Song.
He hit his second shot into the back bunker, and if I was going to say a difficulty level on the scale of 1 to 10, it was a 12. He had absolutely no chance. Now he's got a good 35, 40 feet for his par. And Frank, you can see it. I mean, the tension's up today. The guys are not swinging quite as freely as they did the first few days.
Plus the golf course has changed in the weekend, hasn't it? Starting to dry out.
No doubt about it. I think one of the beautiful things about this tournament is the victor goes the spoils. I mean, like they say in Top Gun, there are no points for second place here.
You seen the latest movie, Maverick?
Fantastic.
We're right in the heart of Southeast Asia. Thailand, bordered by Vietnam, Malaysia down south. It's a region that stretches some 11,000 miles. Amata Spring, built 2005. That is the signature hole right there, the floating green. It's just one of 2 in the world. The other's at Coeur d'Alene Resort in Idaho. It's warm. We've just come out of the rainy season. Typically what, in the month of September, Frank, was about 13 inches. What'd they get?
27 inches. So
yeah, caught the tail end of some of those typhoons that came through the Philippines and Vietnam. But we're into the drier portion of the calendar. Now Crow for the par.
Very similar to Song's putt. Going to be pretty slow coming up the hill. Should move to his left. He needs a spark, though, Frank. Not much going well for him so far today.
Yeah, birdie free. Even pars are becoming more difficult, Colt.
Yeah, he's got some work left for his 5.
Somebody has to hit that reset button on that walk. They take a cart from the 9th green to the 10th tee. So something has to change on that journey.
Bo Jin's seen 4 shots since he hit his last shot. That was just a beautiful iron shot he hit in there from 164.
What do you like about his game, Colt?
Yeah, I mean, what's not to like? Hits it far, puts the eyes out of it. A lot of talent. You got to be talented if you want to go to Oklahoma State.
Chance to open up a 3-shot lead. This one's quick.
We saw him make a great birdie here yesterday. See if he can do it again. Just hangs out there. That was a golden opportunity.
It's a good stroke. There's nothing wrong with that.
3 birdies and the bogey at number 4 on the front side for Bo Jin. So out in 2 under 34. He began the day 2 back. He's now 2 in front. Now Suzuki at the 10th.
Yeah, he got pretty lucky here, Rich. The ball is sitting down. He's only got 85 yards to this pin. He struck that well, got it up over the palm tree. Oh, that's a very good shot. He's just a little bit out of sync. He's got a lot of speed through the ball, but it's out of sync at the moment.
Song.
Hammers it home.
Yeah, nailed that with confidence. That's tough opening 9, though. 3 over 39. He began the day 2 shots back, and he's now 5 off the pace. Harrison Crow, this for bogey.
A quick one. You got to just keep inside that left edge. Saw Bo Jin's not move too much.
Okay. So that's a rough opening 9 for the 54-hole leader. Now 3 off the lead held by Bo Jin. So here we are. And we hear the phrase so often, growing the game. In my better than 25 years covering this sport, this, I firmly believe, is the single most consequential initiative. With more, here's Amanda Renner.
This is the 13th edition of the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship, with the event coming to Amata Spring on the edge of Bangkok in Thailand. For the founding partners, it's another opportunity to grow the game in the region, with some of golf's biggest tournaments waiting as the prize for the champion.
This is an example where 3 organizations who care a lot about the game and developing the game in this region have come together.
You know, one of the things I've learned in the last few years is it's all about a pathway from the very beginning to the elite level, and this is the pathway, and it's an extraordinarily exciting week of the year.
The opportunity that this tournament gives you, it's actually making the dream come true.
It's been so much fun to watch the success of AAC participants as they continue on with their careers. Hideki Matsuyama, Cam Smith, C.T. Pan, and there's so many more. When you think about golf in this region, how has it grown since the inception of this championship 13 years ago?
Well, you got to start by realizing there's 23 million golfers in the Asia Pacific region. It's a huge part of the golf ecosystem of the world.
It's a road which all the kids are following. Hideki is their star because he's the Masters champion, and they know it's reality. So it's something achievable because it's been done, and it's been done by our own champion in the AAC.
The gap between the very best amateurs or even the professionals in the world and what's going on here this week, it's getting smaller. And the world needs to see that the Asia Pacific golf is really coming.
It's hard to believe it's been 13 years since the inception of this championship. You've been here every step of the way. How have you seen the AAC grow, and what do you expect from this championship moving forward?
Well, I've always talked about there's two groups of people, and I think the best way to describe them is that those who are attaining and those who are aspiring. And what I've seen in this time is that the aspiring group has got bigger and bigger, and they're much more looking at how do I attain. So the depth of the field is so much better than it was 13 years ago.
We were here 10 years ago at Amata Spring. They're a wonderful host, great golf course. We were very pleased that many of our partners have joined us in promoting this great event. And we couldn't do it without them. To be able to associate this championship with the great brands that they represent, the global brands of these iconic companies, it really adds to the stature of the event. And so we're very happy that they're a part of it, and we look forward to that association continuing for many years. You know, I think this is really just the start. I think there are probably a half a dozen young men that are playing this week that we're going to hear about in the coming years. So we're excited about the way this is working.
Bo Jin now teeing off, and Frank, you've been on the call here, the Asia Pacific Amateur, since 2012. In what ways have you seen it grow?
I have to echo the words, I think, of Martin Slumbers. You know, I think it's just the growth in the region, number one, and I love the phrase attaining and inspiring. I think the gap is closer now between these best amateurs. There's no doubt about it, and their professional counterparts. They learn from that. They're learning to compete, and just a chance to win too. I mean, these players are here for one reason.
Yeah, and this is a perfect example from Suzuki. He's the last, he's the highest member of this Japanese crew that's down here, and he's performing the best. So they're all pushing each other along in this region, and the growth has been amazing.
And no, the organizers are justifiably proud that Matsuyama, back-to-back winner here, went on to win a Masters. Cam Smith, who played here in 2012, finished top 7, has won an Open. But they're just as proud now that players from Nepal, Kyrgyzstan, Iraq this week made the cut. Players from less developed Gulf countries that typically haven't had the resources.
Well, that's the attaining and inspiring. There's a big tee shot here for Crow. You said at the top of the show, Rich, don't dwell on the past, concentrate on the present. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's 9 holes away.
Frank, we are midway through this final round here in Chonburi, the industrial city outside of Bangkok, and Bo Jin is leading 2 players by 3. TK's at 4 shots behind. We're all thinking about our friends in Korea today, country in mourning after the tragedy in Seoul, and as well in the Philippines after the natural disaster there. Heartbreaking, and our thoughts are with you. The Asia Pacific Amateur Championship is proudly brought to you by Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? IBM, let's create. AT&T, fast, reliable, and secure. And Mercedes-Benz, electric, made extraordinary. Well, it's been a great week. Already the most widely distributed amateur golf event in the world. Television coverage of this championship increasing. How's this? As more than 190 countries can now access the live action. That's up 40 from a year ago, when then world number one Keita Nakajima of Japan won in dramatic fashion in Dubai. Keita has embarked on his professional career, just had a good finish, top 15 at the Zozo back in his home country of Japan. And now all eyes are on Bo Jin, who ran third in Dubai a year ago, and that was a solid opening nine, Frank.
It was. And Colt, I think he'll learn from last year where he had the 54-hole lead, but today, more importantly, he's not backing off these shots.
He's not. He looks much more comfortable today. Oh, what? Just as you say it. How about that? Thanks, Frank. But perfect tee shot, 126. This pin is just green light all the way, sitting right in the middle of the green. He's hung this one out to the right. Needs to cover that bunker. Okay, safe now.
Leads three, and with more, let's bring in Amanda.
Rich, I talked to Bo Jin after his round yesterday about him backing off his shots, and he said, yeah, listen, it's something I'm trying to get rid of, but it's really just a sign I'm not confident in myself. He said, but I understand that if I try to force a shot that I'm standing over and I'm not 100% confident, 100% of the time, that's not going to be a good shot. So right now, he understands it's something he has to get rid of, but he trusts it right now that if he doesn't feel confident, he knows he can back off, reset, and get a better result.
Thank you, Amanda. To this point, it's working. Min Hyuk Song.
Just a little chippy wedge there from 114.
Unique feature of golf here in Thailand, you see the female caddies. Now Harrison Crow.
Made three here yesterday from nearly a similar place, Colt.
Yeah, this lie looks hot though, Frank. Got to be careful of a jumper. Has not found too many fairways today. This one comes out high and knuckling and needs to get down.
So just out of sorts. And of course, this is a shot, Rich. I mean, this really, I thought, was one of the shots of the day. You can see, trying to keep your balance. Look where it lands to, right on the edge there. I mean, kicks up beautifully. And I mean, it started a run. Every time he got in trouble yesterday, he didn't do something good, he did something great. And today, of course, that's what's lacking.
Suzuki at the 11th.
Dogged left par 5. Problem is today, the wind is blowing from the player's left, so it's hard to bite off more of that cross bunker. Still well placed. It's about the hop.
Birdie putt now for TK Chantananawat. Bogey at 14. Needs a bit more magic. And boy, that one just chasing well by. In jeopardy of a second consecutive bogey after having started this backside with 3 straight birdies. And we'll go back now to the leader in Bo Jin. And Colt, I know you follow a little college football. It seems like college football's humbling just as golf is. If I recall, Bo Jin, mentioned he's from Oklahoma State, was gloating to Amanda earlier in the week about the Cowboys' big win a week ago over the University of Texas. And they turn around this week and they got blown out 48-0 by Kansas State.
Yeah, his golf's going a little better than their football did yesterday.
And now
you know, I was talking But Bo Jin, he's been getting pep talks all week from his assistant coach, Donnie Dar. I asked him walking off 9, I said, did you hear from him this morning? He said, yeah, he told me I was going to win. He goes, I hope he's right. He's usually right.
But you talk about college football. I mean, one of the biggest sports here is badminton. I've caught Colt watching badminton. I know as we look at the team from Oklahoma here, but I watch Colt watching badminton just about every day in the hotel.
I think I missed my calling, Frank. I would kill it on the badminton court.
There's as much badminton on local TV here as college football on a weekend in the United States. Now Harrison Crow as a good, strong young athlete, and you saw that team from Oklahoma State. Leo Oyo's having a good tournament too. He's currently tied for 9th. Big hitter from Japan, playing in Stillwater. And now Crow, boy, he could really use this, Colt.
There is no doubt about that. It has been a struggle so far. It's just a crazy game, isn't it, Frank? I mean, yesterday it seemed so easy for him. Today he wakes up with the lead and the golf swing feels foreign.
Yeah, remember, he's one of those players like some of the New Zealand players. They had a long wait with COVID. Wasn't able to field their best team, so this is his first time here. Championship.
But as we've mentioned all week, this is a stretch of the golf course. You can pick up some shots and turn this round around.
Good putt. This to save par at 15 for Chantananawat.
Well, 6s on par 5s, if he makes that, is just around here with a hole without water in play. That is disastrous.
Right now Suzuki at the 11th. Oh, what a shot.
Some shot.
Flag hunting, runs out just a bit, but maybe a chip in for eagle, up and down for birdie, and he needs it because he's 3 behind this guy, Bo Jin.
Yeah, another example there, just at 11, the firmness of the green. Colt, we're just looking at the 10th green right now. I know there's more of a sheen. They've managed to get the greens a little quicker. They held off to the weekend. They are putting extremely well.
Yes, they are. They're rolling beautifully and the fastest they've been all week. And they definitely have a little more bounce in them, which is one of the reasons I think we're seeing a little bit of higher scores this weekend.
It's certainly become a better test in the weekend. These players have to have their wits about them now. So when you've got a 3-shot lead, avoid the mistakes. 8 holes to go.
I'm going to have to call Coach Dar and see if we can get him some longer pants.
That's the look these days, Colt. For guys of that stature, guys who can wear it well. Not sure it's in your wheelhouse.
What are you trying to say, Rich?
Good effort by Song. Just catches that right edge.
Bogey putt for TK. Appear to be making a run. And just like that, hits the wall. So Crow from Australia was the 54-hole leader after a round of 67 yesterday. Frank, that cut coming in even par, what's the significance in your estimation of that?
Well, it's just deeper. I mean, that is actually that's a new record. It's 2 shots better than any cut. Now, you could say softer conditions, but 54 players, 2 shots better. And also, you've got 54 players within 12 shots, which were, at the halfway point. So it's a deeper field, and it's a better field.
You have seen the improvement in the 10 years you've been covering it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you also referenced, Nepal, for example, making a player making a cut for the Veeraru first time. Now we look at 11 here, the par 5, dogleg left, 532 yards. These guys, they have the same sort of clubhead speed that we see on the professional tours around the world, so you can take it off that. But that 312 bunker, that's a little harder to reach to today because the breeze is coming from the left. The whole turns almost at about 60, 70 degrees to the left, and this green firming up. The green's only 21 paces, so you have to hit the best shot nice and high and soft to have any chance of keeping the ball on this green today. good for Amanda to catch up on Bo-Jin when he was trying to explain the backing off. So obviously it doesn't bother him, but he looked a little nervy yesterday when he was doing it. It's making me edgy. Hopefully he's not a coffee drinker. Ooh, so forced lay up from that position. Wasn't much in it, eh? You needed another 2 or 3 yards to carry that. Long carry on that left side.
Harrison Crow.
Well, he's actually been working. I was talking to Paul Gale yesterday. I was talking to his coach. He's trying to work on hit the ball a little more left to right. That's a bad fit for this hole.
Hadn't stayed in many drives that we've seen.
Well, yesterday he had him going. The bad shot was to the left, so it's a little bit of avoidance. That's a long way left for a second.
Suzuki, this just over the 11th green.
He was unlucky with that second shot. Just pitched a little on the downslope.
Well, Richie caught it earlier. This is possibly, he could hold this. This is all funneling towards the hole.
Oh, wow, that was close. So a little bit left for his birdie to get, for the moment, to within 2. Great game of golf rising in the east, Southeast Asia, beautiful and exciting country of Thailand, just outside of Bangkok, where Bo-Jin of China has opened up a 3-shot lead. 13th edition of one of the world's great amateur events, the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship.
Bo-Jin strides his way down the 11th, the par 5. Trying to do the brother double here at the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. It'll be 7 years after his brother won. Clearwater Bay in Hong Kong. Like so many in the field. 6 foot plus. They look like they could play a multitude of sports. That's where the game has, direction the game has gone. Fellow countryman Ding there, who's, believe it or not, only 17 years of age, and I saw him at breakfast this morning, and he could easily be a point guard. US junior champion, World Juniors. But today he hasn't been that great. You see there -7, but he's trying to gain as much experience as he can. Golf has changed so much in China just over the last 20 years. I remember playing the World Cup of Golf. That was the first ever professional event played in China on the economic zone, Mission Hills, in the early 90s. And really amateur golf, I mean, just to see some of the kids on the range there, they were very new to the sport now. In one generation, very polished. So Ding to get to 8 under.
They've done a great job with the website here. You can stream all the action, championship video, live stats, feature stories, good pictures. They have it all covered, aacgolf.com. So Lee Schmidt did some work with Jack Nicklaus in China and came over here. The vision of the chairman, Andrew Yao. 7,500 yards. It can stretch it out. They're playing it quite a bit less than that. Tianlong Guan won here. He's just 125 pounds, 14 years old. Then went on to make the cut at the Masters, youngest ever the following April. He's now playing professionally back in China. And Thailand starting to deliver some young standouts on the World Amateur stage like Lau Patki. He'll play college golf in the United States. 120 players starting, close to 30 in the field currently playing collegiately in the United States. And others like Pangsapak planning to go that direction. Learn that TK Chantunanawat has his sights set on playing at Stanford. And now Suzuki.
Rich, he spent a lot of time with Kita Nakajima. They're good friends at the same university. And he wants to take in today a mindset of Kita. So not giving up and working as hard as he possibly can. Oh, well, he's just given away one to the field there. That'll feel awful walking to the next tee.
The Japanese program is just so strong now under the direction of your countryman, Paul. Gareth Jones, who came over 7 years ago. And since they've produced 3 world number 1s, 2 Asia Pacific amateur champions, they're getting it done. More emphasis on short game. All right, let's see what Bo Jin has as we check in with this group, and that is Harrison Crow. He'll be first to play.
It's a little awkward today because, you know, where the hole's cut, Rich, if you can't get it on that front edge on the right, I mean, the layups is very important. You have to be far enough back where you can stop it. So I know Crow's fairly strong, but somehow try and chase it down. You don't want to just make that greenside bunker today because there's very little green to work with. That is a sensational shot.
It is. It had to have it, really.
Just powered it.
This is the spot where he can begin to make his move, start climbing back. He's 3 behind. Now Song.
Those shots coming out of the rough this week. Players have got flyers. So consequently with the fly, you take a couple of less clubs. Is that one? Well, that more than flew.
Song, he started the day 2 shots back. He's now 5 in arrears. And this is the guy, Bo Jin.
Rich, actually, he might be far enough down to get it over this lip. Try and get greedy and sneak it on the right side of this green. Just keep his levels. Picked it. He likes it. Why wouldn't you?
That had to look really good in the air as it was tracking the flagstick. Good position with his short game. You like his chances to get out of there with a birdie 4 and get to 14 under par, being chased by Suzuki and Harrison Crow. But right now, it's the big man, Big Bo Jin from China, in control here in Thailand.
Strides down the 11th fairway. After that shot, now up ahead. 12th, shorten it up again. Reachable par 4. You've got to be clever. That wind is coming off the left. Sneaks it in the bunk. I actually think the flag today, it's like the eagle position. Just squeeze a long iron, get the nice bounce up. You never know, you might just be able to sneak it 2. And this week's not just about crowning a champion too, it's really to celebrate Thai golf. I referenced first golf course here about 1924, just giving you an example, you know, St Andrews dates back to like 1552. And I've mentioned the name Sukri Oncham, He's a really professional player that I met. He's one of the guys that have really pushed golf forward in Thailand. But their most famous player, and some people actually refer to him as the godfather of golf, is Bunshu Ronkit. 19 wins around the world, including winning his National Open of Thailand in 2004. That might not seem that, sort of remarkable, but he was 47 when he won that. Also won 5 European Senior Tour events. Won the European Senior Tour Order of Merit as well. Started off as a kickboxer, which is another sport that's very big in Thailand. And survived without too many broken noses. So that's good. I guess you only have one nose, really, don't you? You can break it several times.
And 12 tee with an iron, Yuta Suzuki.
Just playing straight down breeze here today. Just going with the long iron, only 287 to this front pin here. That's going to just hold on. He's got to set himself up some birdies coming in. 13th, not so hard.
Nice. Good performance by the Australian. Carl Phillips plays college golf at Stanford.
I watched a little bit of him on YouTube. Mutual friend Ben Dawn put me onto some of his YouTube. I mean, he's basically chronicled his golfing career. Hundreds of videos there. You might be able to get that up and down. Now back to Song.
More than he would have liked for his birdie here at this par 5.
Yeah, Rich, I know you're a little bit of a stranger here, first time. I mean, your impressions too of Thailand.
First thing I'm struck by is people. How warm and polite they are, how welcoming they've been. Beautiful country. Won't have the chance to get up north, and I'd like to at some point to Chiang Mai in the mountains. I know a number of people on the crew are going to do that. We will go to Bangkok the next couple of days, the floating markets, the flower market, the Thompson Museum, the Royal Palace, things like that. It's among the most visited tourist destinations in the world is Thailand, because it just has so much to offer. The beaches, you've been down to Phuket, sort of Man with a Golden Gun and James Bond. We talked about the mountains and the elephant sanctuaries, and then the great cosmopolitan, bustling city of Thailand and Bo Jin. And that one sneaks away, but not too bad, coming back up the hill. And the other thing, Frank, is the food. We've gone for curry for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, we've had a chance to celebrate, haven't we? Have a look at this. I mean, it's a good strike. It's just the firmness of the green. Just catches it a touch out of the toe. There's no rotation. I mean, he's an excellent chipper. And he'll hope to celebrate perhaps in a couple of hours. But Harrison Crow, if he could just sneak this one in and turn this round around. Always left. Decisions to be made at the very next hole. Par 4, it's been shortened. Reference drivable.
Now Yuta Suzuki at the 12th.
In a perfect spot here, Rich, on an upslope, a lot of green to play with, all running towards it. He struck that nicely. Oh, that is some good touch there.
Okay, so that's a great shot, and he needed it. Now back to Song at the 11th. Here's another Aussie, Jeff Guan. He's having a pretty good day. He's 3 under for the round.
Gentleman by the name of Guan won here 10 years ago. Different country.
What a shot right there.
And Tialong Guan hit a lot of shots like that. He shot 15 under. I mean, I know he's 14 when he won, but the score was 15 under. Bo Jin hasn't reached that yet.
And that was a field, by the way, that included Hideki Matsuyama,
C.T.
Pan, Cam Smith. Bo Jin to get to 14 under. Try not to give an inch here. Keep the hammer down. Maybe a little bit of an opening, and Harrison Crow absolutely has to take advantage here, Frank.
Yeah, I think the next hour or so, you've got a little stretch of holes where, I mean, there's some birdies can be found, and there's enough breeze out there. Of course, Suzuki, he's going to tap in here at 12, and the little squirrel inside your head starts getting on the treadmill, and you can start thinking about all sorts of different things out there. So, this putt, more important now. Oh, much needed.
So finally a little bit of a shift in the momentum. It had been all Bo Jin from the start. Now he has a couple of guys right on his heels, 2 shots back. And remember what we're looking at down that stretch, Frank, hole 17 and 18, with all the water and all the pressure ratcheted up.
Amata Spring is famous for its 17th hole, but also 18 on the back of that you referred to, which is one of the hardest holes on the golf course. But I just look at 12 right now there with the water on the left side. Harrison Crow, the chaser. I mean, you can really start to put pressure on the leader here because you're playing alongside. And then there's plenty of time before you get to those closing 2 holes.
2 shots behind Crow coming to 12T. What club selection do you like here?
With today's breeze, I know Colt Nost is down there. I want to sort of pick Colt's brain as well, but it's coming from the left and helping. So, I think the perfect play really is to chase it long enough. If you get it on the front right of the green, that's absolutely fine. Your chances of making 3 are very, very high. You do not want to be trying to fly the ball onto this green. We saw that yesterday with TK, and that's where that round completely unraveled. He got over-aggressive, made bogey, and then all of a sudden racked up a couple of other double bogeys on top of that and was conceivably out of the event.
Frank, you asked me what I thought of Thailand. You know who really loves Thailand is Tiger Woods. His mom, Tita, grew up 70 miles north of Bangkok. And Tiger's always been an enormous star here. He won in Thailand in 1997, 2 months before he won the Masters. He was accompanied by Tita. You were in that field, weren't you?
Yeah, thanks for rubbing it in. He won by 10, and that's before he won the Masters. And believe me, I felt the impact. When he stood on the first tee, and I know he had won on the PGA Tour, but it was before he was the Tiger Woods we know. They were 10 deep. It was
early stages of global Tiger mania. He does have the iron out.
There's a big shot. If he can, he likes to hit a little cut, but if he can hit a low draw that chases, that's the shot.
Hold your line. Hold your line. Hold your line.
Oh, he's done it.
What a shot this is. Hold on.
Oh, lucky.
Okay. Still good chance, you would think. Good lie. Get it up and down for the birdie 3 here at the 12th. He at the middle of the bat on that one. Now, just a tiny bit of pressure, heat on Bo Jin. Still the leads 2.
Well, he's gone down nearly on the graphite. You see, checked down about 2 or 3 inches.
Oh no, you heard him say.
Left bunker, you don't have as much green to work with.
Carl Phillips now at the 15th. He's 10 under, 3 shots back. Excuse me, he's at 9 under. Suzuki at 13.
This back end of the breeze today, a little bit of an amphitheatre here on 13. 187. Oh, this is climbing the invisible ladder. It's gone up higher and to the right. Oh, I think he tried down. It didn't actually happen. That's a concern.
Australia with probably the richest, deepest golf heritage in the region. 2014, down under at Royal Melbourne, that was 19-year-old Antonio Murdaka from Australia, first Aussie to win the AAC, currently competing professionally in Australia. 2 years later in South Korea, it was another Aussie, Curtis Luck, bogey-free, final round 67, earning his invitation to the Masters. He made the cut at Augusta National the following spring, tied for 46th. Curtis has won on the Korn Ferry Tour. He is currently back to the final stage of Q School next month.
And Curtis Luck has the record from the largest come behind victory in this championship. He came from 7 back on that Sunday.
There was a time when Australia was the dominant country in the region, but we know the strides that the other Asian countries have made, particularly Japan, Korea, and China.
Yeah, Australia's blessed with some great golf courses. Everybody refers to the ones in the Sound, but you can go to Queensland, Western Australia, obviously New South Wales. St. Michael's is where Crow is from, and of course just opposite, across the other side of St. Michael's, is the famed New South Wales golf course.
Phillips. One thing we should always acknowledge about the Aussies and the Kiwis, is you've traveled. You've had to travel in order to be great, as you were. There's a long road to hoe from
Travel's
down under.
the best education. We're going to go back there next year.
Hoping we can travel down to Royal Melbourne. Frank, it really is one of the world's great golf courses, mid-1920s by Alistair Mackenzie, right in the heart of the famous Sandbelt.
Yeah, they have an east and a west, and the championship course is a composite, and there's not a bad hole on it. I mean, it's you're truly blessed, and we've got to meet so many people involved, and they're very proud to go down again.
Yeah, there's Tony Rule. He's the captain of Royal Melbourne, surrounded by all of the dignitaries. Martin Slumbers, chief executive of the R&A, on the far left. There's a Masters tournament chairman, Fred Ridley. Let's see if this young man, Harrison Crow, is there. A lot depends. Professional game beckons for so many of these elite amateur players. And now TK at 17.
Nearly wet with that tee shot. They've shortened it up. It's only 129 yards, but they've given them a short flag to see if they get too greedy. And of course, the breeze is into your face. So if you get a short iron that just starts climbing, it can get eaten up by the breeze.
All right, Colt's down with Bo Jin. What's this shot look like, Colt?
Pretty straightforward, honestly. He's got a lot of green to work with. The only problem is where he lands it is going to be on a little bit of a downslope. But if it does get going a little too far past the hole, it will run off the green like we saw Harrison Crows do. But Frank, I just love that they move this tee up on this hole. It makes these guys think. The first 2 days it was soft, it was point and shoot. Now these guys are actually having to think about where they want to land the golf ball.
It's thrown a little kink into it, hasn't it? Which is just what you want on a Sunday. It's good for us to watch, that's for sure. He's got a good set of hands here and technique. I mean, he doesn't sort of over-rotate the club. I mean, he keeps it sort of very square, which has been a number of good bunker shots this week. Always trying to keep that loft skyward.
Throws it up nice and high, lands soft, needs to settle down just a little bit. Oh, hello! How about that?
That is an eagle at the 12th for Bo Jin. My goodness. We've talked about his touch all week long, Frank. And those are the shots that win you the meaningful championships.
Well, one more look. I mean, everything's aiming left, but see, just allows the bounce to work. I mean, it might have gone 3 or 4 feet, but what a shot at the time.
Just as the other guys are starting to apply a little pressure.
Remember, he nearly didn't make it this week. Had to get a flight out of LAX.
His brother jumped on the phone and jumped on him and said, get your act together and get over there. Yeah, come on. So now the heat is on guys like Yuta Suzuki. He's running out of holes.
Yeah, he certainly is. And I think they all know it. He's got a lot of green to work with here. Back into the grain, if any, with a bit of a backstop.
See if Crow can counter. That's a good one.
Beautiful touch, but lose a shot.
So Crow, if he taps, will be at 12, and he'll be 3 shots back. That was an absolute thunderbolt. Hold bunker shot for eagle at the short par 4 for Bo Jin. Now TK par putt 17. Nice roll. And this is a guy who has genuinely created a lot of buzz around the world of amateur golf. Suzuki had to have it, and he gets it. You love his Toy Story shirt. Heroes from Another Realm. And the par putt song, and he walks that one in. Check that. That was birdie, excuse me. Birdie at the 12th for Min Hyuk Song. And crucial because he went out in 3 over 39, so he's at 9 under par, 6 back of the lead. And now Crow cannot afford any mistakes.
I'm with you, Rich. I know there's a lot of holes left, but this is definitely a must-make.
And Colt, just general impressions of Harrison Crow's game over the last couple of days as you followed.
Yeah, obviously yesterday was just beautiful. I mean, to shoot the score he did in those conditions. But obviously with the pressure amped up today, he struggled a little bit. Made a big birdie at the last, and if he can knock this one in, he's still within reach.
Birdie 3. But he loses a shot to Bo Jin. So that, the shot of the tournament to this point. Here it is once again, Frank.
Just gives it some speed. Watch where it lands, and then it's just running down. And, I mean, it got the assistant from the flag, but he knew, I mean, you want as big a gap as you can get. All of a sudden, it completely changes how he can play these remaining holes. And if he joins this list, I mean, what a list. The youngest ever champion in this very golf course.
Right. 4 from China have won, 3 have won 4 titles. Japan also with 4, so this would sort of break that log jam. You go back right here, Amata Spring, and it was Tianlong Guan, and that is Bo Jin's brother right there, won at Clearwater Bay. And then Yujin Lin twice in 17 and 19. He's playing at the University of Florida. Headed to 13.
And Rich, I know we talk about the brothers, but we do the sister Joyce. I mean, she's a freshman, University of Southern California. I mean, they have a sporting family. So, but that, I mean, obviously that should very well be the shot of the day. That opportunity there. And now you see there's no water in play here. There's 3 different levels on this par 3 at 187 yards. And one of the things that I've been very impressed with Bo, when he's played these par 3s into the breeze, he's not tried to hit a full shot. You see him often choke down, 3/4, the flag's in the middle of the green, does not need to mess with anything around that. Just sort of flight something a little lowish in there, hope the ball kicks forward.
Frank, I think it's one of the takeaways, having watched Bo the last couple of years and throughout this week, certainly, is that he's not just a hitter, he's a shot maker.
Yeah.
He seems creative and certainly has the feel that you like to see in high-level players.
Well, we see, a lot of players have gone with it. They're playing on Paspalum this week, and you see players 3, 4, 5 feet off the green. They all grab the putter. Bo's a great chipper, and we've seen him chip from just off the fringe on numerous occasions. But Colt, he's got the bit between the teeth now.
Yes, he does. And this 13th, honestly, I know it's 187 yards back into the wind, but a very gettable hole location. You do have a backstop you can use. But as y'all said, we've seen him hit a number of flighted down iron shots, and that's what this shot requires right here.
Yeah, he's parred this hole each of the first 3 rounds.
Oh, this one is headed way right. Actually finds the fairway in between the 2 bunkers.
So a little bit of a break. It's still an awkward chip.
Might be right in his wheelhouse. Yeah. Young guy with a lot of personality. All right, now at 14, Suzuki.
Yeah, this is a real awkward tee shot right here. Fairway goes right to left. And he's going up the left-hand side here, taking on the trees. Well, that's a nice drive for sure.
We got all of that one.
Just motors down there.
Let's go back to the tee at 13, and Harrison Crow 3 shots back. But birdie's at 11 and 12, so he has turned his game around. He went out in 3 over 39.
Did not get a very good visual from his 2 playing partners. Both hit it way right.
Got an opportunity, though.
This one just left of the hole, needs to catch a piece. Ah, solid.
Okay, that'll be just about a hole high. And even with those birdies at 11 and 12, he didn't pick up any ground.
Yeah.
2 under through those 2 holes. Bo Jin with the bunker hole out eagle at the par 4 at 12. We'll have to rely on a little more short game magic here at the 13th with a 3-shot lead at the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship.
Jin, he's played his last 7 holes 4 under. That's been the difference. That 3-shot lead now of the Australian. Harrison Crow, but we go to 16 here, his fellow Australian. Carl Phillips. Check in with him. Ah, there he is. See the flag. See the club. Beautiful shot. Another thing in the decade plus that have sort of been involved in this championship, just the short game prowess of some of the players. You're starting to see a more balanced workout routine for them. They're not just going to the range and just beating balls. I mean, they're spending more time around the golf course, short game, analytics. So, yeah, I don't know if he wants to have a nap right now, Bo, but he's got a spectator there. This hole's actually a straightforward par 3. It's not a dog leg, but well, he just really wants a pour and keep that lead. Now, Guan here at 16. 2 big par 4s over the last 3 holes. 16 here. See close to 480, and then 18. 486 today. Get your attention. So after that good stretch, gives one back.
Back to Amata Spring. Is that a dog in the bunker we just saw?
Yeah. Well, Colt, he just needs a pour or a par here.
I know
yeah,
in China it's the year of the tiger. We mentioned tiger, not
actually.
the
Colt
year
was
of the
telling
dog.
me. Colt, tell the viewers too. Have you seen the tigers here? Their ears look like eyes. Is that correct?
They have spots on their ears, so when they're drinking water, other animals think they're still actually looking forward. Fun fact of the day. But Bo Jin, he's actually walked up and he's looking at using this backstop past and right of the hole. I don't think that's necessary, but he's the one with the clubs in his hand.
So does it come back? Let's try.
He knows what he's doing.
I mean, very
That's
creative.
a really good shot.
I mean, the touch has been impressive. So that's his brother. I'm talking about the Jin dynasty we mentioned at the top of the show. That was 7 years ago.
Yeah, he was 17. And both 3 years older. And it was the only 54-hole championship they had. It was a monsoon coming in, so we lost our Sunday round.
Song.
He elects to just go right at it, and also very well done.
Been a phenomenal year for golf in Korea with the emergence of young superstar Tom Kim and the performance of Siwoo Kim, KH Lee, Sung Jae-im in that stirring President's Cup where I thought they exceeded expectations, though they did not win. They have a good pipeline coming from Korea. Mentioned that he learned at the hand of Korean legend KJ Choi, the former Players Champ.
I'm still mad at Trevor Immelman for not putting Tom Kim out earlier.
Although that was a phenomenal first match, though. Siwoo stood up and then some. All that competitive fire from Justin Thomas matched it and beat him. All right, now Harrison Crow could use this one. He's 3 back.
And a chance for 3 in a row. This one's going to move from his left to right. I know he's birdied the last 2 holes, but he's really not made a putt today of any significant length.
Won a professional event, the New South Wales Open in March. Harrison Crow. Ton of game. Turn for home. Oh, he has it. Ball
Big
game.
fist pump. What a 2 that is.
Yeah, there's the turkey, as they would call it in bowling, 3 in a row. And so at last he will pick up a stroke. A shot on Bo Jin. Starting to get interesting. And you give Crow a lot of credit. His game was going the wrong way. And he has put it right back on track.
I think that's one thing you see from these young players nowadays, Rich. They're so patient. They never panic. I know it wasn't going well early, but he's just rattled off 3 in a row, and he's back to even par on the day.
Yeah, they're all well coached. Not just the mechanics of the game, but the psychology. All the best practices. Bo Jin for the par. Suddenly, this becomes crucial. Otherwise, you're looking at a 2-shot swing. Oh no.
That was never on line.
Simmer down.
Well, just as we had a big turn with his bunker hole out at 12, equally enormous shift right here at the 13th.
And Harrison Crow just walked by me, and he's got a little bounce in the step right now.
Okay, That's a bogey, but it is a 2-shot swing. And just like that, Bo Jin's 3-shot cushion is down to 1. Crow has fought back, Frank.
Yeah, no cakewalk now, and there's some good driving holes coming up.
Suzuki is 3 back, playing the 14th.
Hit one absolute miles down here, only going in with 137. Wind whipping off the left-hand side. He's done to the hole, if you can.
This is a TK Chantun Nanawat with so much focus on the home hero who has, created quite a stir in the world of golf. His precocious ability, has infectious personality. He has made a lot of friends. He's really media savvy. Reminds you a little bit of his good friend, whom he beat when he won that professional tournament on the Asian Tour, Tom Kim.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, you know, he got the locals involved today too. 7 birdies within his first 12 holes. Sadly, since then it'll be 3 drop shots. But you know, this is another key hole here at 14.
Not quite sure why Song's going first, but Harrison Crow's back there, ready to go.
Ready golf, I'd imagine. Ready golf.
Yeah. It's being emphasized. Junior golf, elite amateur level.
Yeah, this is where yesterday Colt fired one left. Made a miracle for it.
Yeah, made an incredible par. I mean, it's pretty easy to overcorrect and miss it right here, but you want no part of those bunkers down the right, as we saw TK yesterday have some trouble with.
Really teeing it up high.
This one is headed towards those bunkers on the right. Lands in it and bounces out.
He got a little bit of a break right there. See what the stance looks like.
It's crazy how golfers' memories work, isn't it, Frank? I mean, miss it left yesterday, you definitely ain't going over there the next one.
Yeah, there's no accident, isn't it? Mouth gets a little drier this time of the round. Virginia would dearly like to strike one.
Threw it way up in the air. This one headed up the right side, needs a bounce to the left.
Gets it too. But it did find the rough, and it's nestled down.
Back to Suzuki now. It's for birdie at 14 to get to within 2 of the lead. All right, now TK finishing up at 18 with the gala last night, Frank. He's just so friendly with his family. Oh, look out, it's too bad. But he came up, he wanted to say goodbye. I said, you played with great spirit. I know it didn't go your way. You had that difficult round yesterday. You see the 76. I said, you had troubles with your allergies? He said, no, I don't want to make any excuses. I thought that was good.
Yeah, he doesn't want to say goodbye. He wants to say hello world.
And he will. Promise you will hear plenty from TK Chantun Nanawat. But right now we have a really good one. Bo Jin by 1 here in Thailand.
That beautiful vision surrounds the golf course here at Amata Spring, excuse me. 95% of the country, Buddhist religion. Nearly 70 million people. Bangkok, it's about downtown, really, just over an hour from where we are. 10 million people, bustling metropolis. Many things to buy, some of the markets there, and temples. 43,000, and we're just referencing too, a lot of the men there, they'll study to be like a monk for a little while and assist. You see them in the morning, feed the needy. Golf courses, they're starting to get up in numbers. You think for a population of 70 million people, 317 courses might not seem like a lot, but it's a huge growth considering golf's been played in this country less than 100 years. Beautiful coastline, some wonderful beaches. And of course, if you don't want to sit on the beaches, you can go to one of the many islands and book yourself a week holiday. So we just saw the last group tee off this 14th hole, bunkers on the right, where Harrison Crow got the fortunate bounce, just kicked over it. Talk about how far these guys hit it. You see 308 yards and his ball is on the other side of the bunker. If you catch the speed slot and goes a little left, despite the fact that this hole is 480 yards, you can have just a wedge in here. Bo Jin's tee shot's hung up on that right side, very narrow green. And right now you take anything in the heart of the green, that slope to the right. Birdies, once again, difficult to find here at 14.
We're back to Amata Spring outside of Bangkok in Thailand, and it is shaping up to be a dramatic finish here as the leader walks down the 14th hole. At one point, momentarily, the lead was 4 when he holed out for eagle at the short par 4 12th, but then Crow followed him with a short birdie putt, and then the two-shot swing at the par 3 13th. Crow rolling in a really nice birdie putt, and Bo Jin making bogey, and here we are. The spot in the invitation to the Masters on the line, spot in the 151st Open at Royal Liverpool next summer up for grabs. A lot to play for. Now, Min Hyuk Song of Korea.
All the way back up on the top of the hill, has 199. Really solid strike. Look at these greens. They are starting to firm up and release.
Now Suzuki.
Chance to perhaps get one back, par 5.
This wind howling off the left-hand side here. You can take on these traps. He certainly does. He won the Roy Ishikawa 2020 championships, so this kid can win, but he might be too far back today.
All right, Colt, how about this shot for Crow?
You know, it was a good break that it got through the bunker, but kind of an awkward stance, has to play it way back.
Go.
It did go. Now sit. My golf balls never listen that well.
Yeah, mine didn't either.
It's not a bad result, Frank.
No, it might be putting it down the hill. Makes Bo Jin's shot a little more interesting out of that right line.
This is the worst lie I have seen all week.
Another example of just keeps his levels there. Saw the excellent shot out of the rough yesterday on the 10th hole, where he did went on to make birdie. Now, Colt, you were just saying, I mean, this ball looks like it has to be sitting down.
Oh, it is awful, Frank. He actually yelled over at me and asked if it plugged. I have not seen one sitting down like this entire week. Has just 140, but I think he's actually got to land this short of the green if he wants to hold it. Oh, you could just hear that thud. And that is going to come up way short.
Right, so advantage, Harrison Crow. Maybe a chance to walk to the par 5 15th, tied.
Well, all of a sudden that beaming smile, go back to the drivable par 4 12th, this beaming smile of Bo Jin, that's disappeared, head down. And I've got to stress, you know, those closing holes, Rich, with water in play. Anybody's game. But it's a bit of a bad break. I mean, he didn't miss the fairway by much, and he just tried to move everything just to get it out.
No, Frank, he walked up and was shocked that it was even in the rough.
Yeah, because just about every shot we've seen during the week, the ball's sort of half set up, and players have been very cognizant of the fact the ball's been flying out of the rough. So it's Probably the worst lie we've seen all week. We know his short game's good, but it's a tough up and down. Green's firm now. Pitches from right to left. There's a little bit of a ridge short of the flag.
While we have a moment, let's once again bring in Amanda.
Yeah, Rich, when I talked to Bo Jin about how challenging yesterday seemed, he said, you know what, I've been really focusing on my attitude for this weekend, leaning a lot on what he learned from being in contention last year in Dubai at this championship, and also on what his coaches have told him. And his biggest takeaway from that is enjoy the pressure. Things are not always going to be easy. So you have to think that's probably the motto he's repeating to himself right now. Enjoy and embrace this pressure. This is what you've been working towards.
Like that attitude, Frank?
Yeah, but I want to bring Colt. I mean, you know, sometimes you feel like you get snake bit. I mean, he's never shot a round over par. I mean, he's played good enough really to win the last 2 championships. And then sometimes you just feel like, hey, it's just not going my way.
I think feeling those nerves, I mean, that's a good thing. You know there's a lot on the line. You know you're in the mix. I mean, if you were going through here, if you went into today 35th, you probably wouldn't be near this nervous. But this is one I know he spends a lot of time on these shots over at Karsten Creek back in Stillwater, and that work paid off.
Nails right
wonderful.
there. That's clutch. That shows you mentally, Frank, he's where he needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, if you imagine if that was 5 or 6 feet away, totally different now. Up ahead 15, reachable for Suzuki.
Just 260 here. Wind whipping from the left-hand side off a downslope. It's heading at the pin. Geez, gutsy shot.
Caught the bunker.
Didn't back down. And Suzuki, he's 3 back.
Back to Min Hyuk Song.
A little surprised with this club selection, Frank. Not quite sure why you just wouldn't use a putter.
He'd like a redo.
I think he saw that going differently in his head.
This is a bogey putt at 17 for Phillips. Hit it in the water. So just a kind of a harbinger of what is ahead and could happen. That's double bogey at 129-yard hole. All right, Colt, what's it looking like for Harrison Crow?
Well, I know he is very happy with the result from where he was off the tee. He's got about 25 feet down the hill. Got to go through just a little bit of the fringe, but shouldn't be a problem. But I believe it's going to roll a little right early, and then maybe the last couple feet try to come back. Oh, simmer down now.
Yeah, lay down.
Oh, my goodness.
Boy, twists and turns in this back nine saga for both these players. You thought that Harrison Crow had the advantage, and now it swings to Bo Jin.
I mean, who would have thought after those approach shots that Bo Jin would have the shortest par putt?
Yeah, that pitch was special. Smiles
Frank,
back.
He's relaxed. He's, to Amanda's point.
He's relaxed now.
Enjoying it.
Just the ebbs and flows. Now Song.
Yeah, beautiful
Wow.
putt.
Walks it in.
Routine.
Cool customer. Harrison had done all that work, Colt. Birdies 11, 12, and 13, and now got a tester.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, that just totally got away from him.
Yeah, big mistake.
I mean, I guess you got to give him a little credit. He went for it, but now he's got a good 7 or 8 feet left for par.
Sometimes you just got to stand up. It's one of those moments.
Yeah, it's going to move right early and then should start to straighten out the last foot or so. That is big time right there.
You gutted it. I'll tell you what, the run of 3 straight birdies comes to an end, but that had to feel every bit as good as a birdie. Gutsy par for Harrison Crow, and likely he will stay just a shot back.
Yeah, just this hole alone, it's huge. I mean, the beautiful pitch by Jen. Now the tap in. And
this is way too stressful for me.
And the big putt by Harrison Crow. So the gap just won.
4 holes to play, and off they go to the par 5 15th. Give you another look at this testy par putt for Harrison Crow.
We see the roll because he uses a line like some of the professionals we can see. It's just a beautiful roll, and he strikes it perfectly. The holding pace, center cup.
Now at this 15th, here is Yuta Suzuki.
He had a great look at that leaderboard to see where he sits here, and he knows where he's at, and that's going to run all the way off the back of that green. He'll just hang on. Flew it a little bit too far there. He knows he's a couple behind now, so he is the chaser. And not getting one here at the par 5 would not be good.
We've talked about Grow the Game initiatives and the Masters continuing to pour everything it has into so many of these great programs like Drive, Chip, and Putt. We always look forward to it Sunday before the Masters. Go to drivechipandputt.com. It's for boys and girls ages 7 to 15. Think about get your name on that famous leaderboard off the 18th hole, the same leaderboard, on top of which Tiger has seen his name, Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer and all the greats. Nothing like it.
It's a great reminder, too, that the game used to be fun. You see all these youngsters around there running around, they're fist pumping and they're smiling. Now here at 15, now the 3 bunkers down the right side, but that bailout. So Colt, the big thing here is that cross bunker and how much you want to bite. Because if you can bite it, hit it across the left edge of that, find the fairway, you can really reduce this hole down. Starts down the left. Oh, and that puts the pressure back on Jin. Great tee shot.
Song will hit first. He's at 9 under par, 5 shots back.
He's going to need an extremely hot finish if he wants to have any kind of chance. But you know, Frank, like we said, I mean, you got nothing to lose. It's either win or nothing.
He's got a good golf swing, though. He doesn't have the same sort of strong build as the other two, but puts the club in a beautiful position.
Now, Bo, with his power, if he catches one, I mean, he's going to have nothing more than a 6 or 7 iron into this hole.
Get the false start, or is he ready?
Oh, this one is smashed over the bunker.
He loved it. Went for the quick snatch of the tee. So both players answering the bell.
He didn't get the roll, though. He'll hit second. big, tall levers. Just watch that right knee through the heading area there. You call up beautifully, but that right knee will sort of, there's a lot of knee work in the downswing. So well positioned there. It's a little narrow. He's got long levers. And he really works that right side, and that knee will sort of go way past after impact. There we go. And when you're 6'4", 6'5", you've got leverage.
Suzuki.
It's an absolute must make, but I've just seen these caddies are fantastic at it. Just seen a nice little cute painting on his caddy's face of the Japanese flag. So the caddies are really into this week.
Disappointing par for Suzuki. 1 under, 11 under, and 3 back of the lead. Bo Jin clinging to that 1-shot lead on Harrison Crow as they play the par 5 15th final round from Thailand.
Starting to settle into a 2-horse race. One of China's best. Bo Jin, a man who has never ever shot over par in 3 Asia Pacific Amateur Championships. Against an Australian that's already won a professional event. And the Australian Amateur. So players that have come in here in form. Now catch up here with the Puck D at the 15th. Sadly not been a good hole for him. This for a 6. And of course, he's battling to be leading Thai player. TK in the clubhouse at -6. So he'll drop 2. So he has a 2-shot cushion over his fellow countryman if this goes in. He got off to a great start. Had that eagle at the par 5 second. That actually wasn't the lowest score. Sarut Bongaset, also from Thailand, actually had the first ever albatross in the championship after 13 events. That albatross came on the par 5 second.
There they are, the 2 front runners. I don't know if they can see that far, but Augusta National in the sights, and Royal Liverpool as well. But it is this guy, Bo Jin from China, with a 1-shot lead. First to play, though, here at 15 is Min Hyuk Song of South Korea.
Has around 280 yards, but a really nice lie in the rough, trying to chase something up towards the green.
If you're just tuning in today, you see Bo Jin using rangefinders. They're accepted in leading amateur events, just as distance measuring devices only. You can't use the elevation in that.
And Frank, you were right. That ball hardly rolled out for Bo Jin. He's got 248 left. Going with his 3-iron. Solid strike. This one at the right side of the green.
Asking for it to draw.
And now creates a little bit of an opportunity with that bad kick to the right. So green angles to the left. I mean, see why he wants to hit the draw. There's a little bit of a ridge. So tough to get anything close here.
Frank, this is one though I really like going at the hole location, because even if it comes up short, it's a really straightforward bunker shot.
I agree with you, Colt. Yeah, you'd rather. Looks like that's the short side, but it's the easier shot. Much higher shot here from Crow.
Oh, this is a mile up in the air, but also headed just a little right.
Oh.
I guess they just want to hang out together on this hole.
And not a whole lot separating these two off the tee. And by the green here at the par 5 15th with Crow 1 shot back of Bo Jin. Now Suzuki.
This wind pushing from the right, but not as much downwind today. He struck that nicely again. Needs 3 coming in, that's for sure.
Okay. If he wants it, he'll get relief from there. Not done. There we go. All right, now at 18. This is Carl Phillips. This to avoid a double bogey finish. Stanford University Junior via Australia. That's a disappointing finish in a round of 71, but player you want to keep an eye on. Came from meager beginnings back in Australia, and he has a ton of talent. Likely to see much more of him in the years ahead. Now, Bo Jin. 5-time Open champ, 2-time Masters tournament winner Tom Watson convinced China will become a powerhouse in international golf. While he was building a course in China a few years back, he went to a training facility in Shenzhen, and he said that nearly every young player swung it like Adam Scott. Grip, plane, all of it. Watson saying he had never seen anything like it. Now more players from China, like Bo Jin, are playing college golf in the United States. All the latest in advanced training methods. So just a matter of time before we see more breakthrough on the professional level. Don't forget, Hao Tong Lee nearly won the Open at Birkdale 5 years ago.
Shot 63 to one of the low rounds in championship history. But a little bit of a chipping competition here at the par 5, both missing it on the right.
Nice smattering of fans following this final group.
You can see the angle of this par 5 green. You know, Song got the full length of the green to work with. A little different proposition for both Bo Jin and Harrison Ford by missing on the right. So you would actually say this shot's nearly easier.
I don't disagree with you, Frank. This is pretty straightforward from about 45 yards. Going back into the wind a little bit, so should land soft. Oh, he kind of scooped it a little, but got a massive bounce.
Just skids it down. And of course, Colt too with his championship, as that one sort of starts to roll a little bit further back. I mean, they have all these jumbotrons, so there's less guesswork, isn't it? You're playing alongside the guy that you know you're trying to chase, so you know you're only one back. You want to check about everybody else, and there's nearly a jumbotron on every second hole.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to ignore them. There's one about 20 feet from where his ball is right now. So I have a pretty good feeling they know exactly where they stand.
What's the vibe down there right now, Colt?
It's tense. There's no doubt. I mean, there's not a whole lot of chatter going on. And we've got 4 holes to play with, a lot on the line. But I will say, I mean, playing the ball up is such a huge advantage for this shot right here. He got to move it a club length so he doesn't have to go over quite as much fringe. And he'll be able to put a lot more spin on it with a perfect lie.
He's going to aim this a little further right. Just use the ball kick left.
Just clips it off the turf, but needs to settle.
So we'll have that for his birdie.
You see how much the ball turned to the right, though, when it was slowing down. So it shows you that there's an awkward break coming back the other way.
Now a chance for Harrison Crow to apply some pressure.
He actually tried to hit a little cut here as well. So just skims the top. That's the other thing, you know. People at home, sometimes they're a little too steep on their chipping. Want to be shallow.
Harrison should have got a pretty good idea where he needs to land this. Oh, put a lot of spin on it. He is not happy.
Well, it's going to come down to putting again, Rich. And I tell you, for Bo Jin, he's actually had a few opportunities really to sort of close the door on this. Let's go back to the 4th hole, for example. That this is, you'd think, just a kick in, right? That one goes right, catches the right edge, and then up ahead on 9. This actually was I thought was one of the better putts, but this one misses on the left side. Once again, a good opportunity. 2 shots gone adrift. 11, the par 5. Stroke looks fine, so he's sort of got a left, he's got a right miss going. And of course 13, after he'd made that great bunker shot. Look where this is aiming. It doesn't even hit the hole. So hopefully for Bo Jin, he's got a convenient memory and has forgotten all of those. But the scary thing is there's not like one predominant miss there. They missed them on the left and the right.
And the lead
Frank,
is just
don't
a shot. Go ahead, Cole.
I was going to say, Frank, don't try to act like he doesn't remember. Us golfers remember everything, especially the bad ones.
Well, you go back to that front 9. I mean, Harrison Crow went out in 39, and it looked like, well, your head was down, was out of it. Of course, anything could happen. He could be tied at the end of this hole. He could be 2 back. He could.
Made a big putt at 14 for par. But shorter than this. Now for birdie.
Tricky one, though, because the ball's above his feet, which makes you want to feel like it's going to go left, but it should move back to the right as it gets to the hole.
Hold the line.
It's 2 huge putts in a row.
Has another one.
This is fun to watch.
Thinking about Russell Crowe, another Australian. We're talking about gladiator right here. And so that is 4 birdies in the last 5 holes for Harrison Crowe after having shot 39, 3 over on the front. He regrouped. He is showing some moxie.
It's just a great roll. You can see that, tell that by the line. He's feeling it. Oh, yeah. It felt good. And look at Bo in the background like, oh, no.
And now we will see if Bo Jin has an answer. First, Min Hyuk Song to get to 10 under. Beautiful.
Good fall. Stage is set, though.
And Frankie didn't take advantage of the par 5 11th. You got to feel like with his length, he's got to birdie these par 5s. And he smashed it.
Yeah, he jacked that one, so he has work left. That will be to stay tied for the lead. And Crow's gone all the way up to the 16th tee, Frank.
Yeah, he's not even watching. He's already, those eyes are going ahead. Hold it. Keep it in the present.
He did the same thing back at 13. Went over to 14 early, didn't even watch Bo Jin putt.
Okay.
Ooh, good catch.
Yeah, right side.
I think he thought he missed that one, Rich.
Par for Jin, birdie for Harrison Crowe, and it is tied. And again, for a brief moment after Bo Jin holed that bunker shot for eagle at the par 4 12th, he led by 4. And we're knotted.
And you have 2 big par 4s and the par 3 across water. to finish.
And it's approaching 90 degrees. You're feeling the heat.
I mean, 2 huge putts there, and that last one that we just saw from Harrison Crow. It felt like Harrison Ford.
He's in a leading man role right now, Frank. I don't know if it's Indiana Jones or if it's Gladiator, which we mentioned. Heroic.
Bo just snuck that last one, and it's like this job got a lot harder. Last 3 holes, 3 of the 16th, 6th hardest hole on the golf course, 17 today, 3rd hardest hardest hole on the golf course, and the 18th today is the hardest hole on the golf course. That's what's in front of them.
Sounds like a great time. This wind down off their right. They can throw it out there and try to ride this wind. Oh, this is beautiful. If it doesn't go through the fairway.
He's making better swings, Frank, with the big stick.
He's committed. He's actually hitting the ball a little harder.
Yeah,
he's not trying to find it.
You can see he likes the moment. You have to. Song.
Boy, you better commit. I mean, it's not like you get this chance every other week. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for these guys.
So it feels like it's going the wrong way for Bo Jim, but keep in mind, Colt, he's 3 under for his round today. He's playing pretty well.
He's playing great. He just didn't take advantage of the par 5s on this second 9. I mean, but it feels like 30 minutes ago he had a 4-shot lead. Oh, this one is headed left. I believe that flew the bunker.
Okay, he's okay. We high drama here in Chonburi outside of Bangkok. Tied as they play the 16th hole with an invitation to the Masters and a berth in the Open on the line at the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship.
So Harrison Crow is now tied for the lead. She walks down that up ahead. Suzuki, things haven't quite gone his way over the last hour or so. There's another par putt here at 16. Still good good performance. Currently 3rd all on his own. Harrison Crow was just 18 months old. He jumped onto a mini golf cart, came riding around in the backyard. First started playing golf at 3 years of age at a local public facility called Barden Valley Golf Course. It's pretty close to Sydney's International Airport. And then he was hooked. Well taught. Bo June, we talked about his sporting family, brother and sister, extremely good players. Bo, it all looked good after that eagle at 12. It's changed there, not just the bogey at 13, but also the play of Crow.
be a heavyweight bout between these two coming down the stretch, I believe.
This for birdie at number 1. Go ahead and do that. Yujin Lin. Tai Chi Ko now at 10. This for his birdie. Tie the lead. Oh, hello. The flag stick. Keita Nakajima and Tai Chi Ko will play off. What a way to finish. Keita Nakajima has won the 2021 Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. What a terrific week it has been here in Dubai. Authentic display of sportsmanship, and we are headed to yet another phenomenal finish. Headed to another phenomenal finish here at the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. Maybe another playoff, Frank.
Yeah, it's we've seen already in the short history, previous 12 championship, we've seen many a time it's come down just to 2. And once again, we're not disappointed. Once again, too, another great venue with a good finish where anything can happen. But first of all, Song out of the fairway bunker at 16, and believe me, there's not much behind that green. You can see the water in the background.
That from 180 out of the fairway bunker. Looks like this one's going to come up a little bit short. Yep.
Suzuki at 17.
This coming straight back into the breeze, 129. This pin is a sucker pin, tight to the right-hand side. Well, that is fighting that invisible ladder. It's going high and right. He's lost it right here. Oh.
His chances wet at 17. Now Bo Jin at 16, tied for the lead.
Got to be careful here. Don't want any part of long. That's a smart shot. Just about a foot short of the front edge.
No damage there. Harrison Crowe, this year, he won the New South Wales Open. That's a professional tournament as well as the New South Wales Amateur. The last time that was done in the same season, you had to go back to 1938. Won by a gentleman called Jim Ferrier. As we watch Bo Jin here, just another little replay of that. Jim Ferrier went on to win the PGA Championship in 47, was runner-up in the Masters in 1950. So that's the sort of caliber that Harrison Crowe is. So Bo Jin knows he's up for a fight.
Harrison has drawn a beautiful lie in this left-hand rough. Shouldn't have to worry about a flyer. Just 133 left.
Little firm bounce.
Oh my. Big mistake there, Frank.
Back and forth they go, so maybe a slight advantage now to Bo Jin. He's tied with Harrison Crowe. They're playing the 16th hole in the final round of the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship.
Here we have Suzuki out of the drop zone. Another player that has found foul here at 17. Just 129 yards, but that front flag is tempting for these players. Try and get a little greedy. Of course, the leaders will have to traverse that as well. And hardest hole on the golf course, well, that follows 17. Tough finish here at Amata Spring. So Japan will not have back-to-back winners. Nearly 90 feet deep, that lake. Pontoon boat goes across. You can see that mammoth scoreboard. So when Jin, Crowe, whoever's leading, or if they're tied, they will know exactly where they stand when they walk across to 17. Female caddies, wonderful touch here. 120 on the staff. They go through a unique training program, so they're very proficient at their job. collect his thoughts across the lake. Moose came with the dream of the golden ticket. Chance to play at Royal Liverpool, 151st Open, and of course a chance to play in the Masters.
Back at the par 4 16th with the final group. This is Min Hyuk Song.
He's got a front row seat to this show Bo, Jen, and Harrison are putting on.
Boy, they are playing for an awful lot, Frank. Invitation to the Masters, spot in the 151st Open, and then that 128th Open, which goes to a wonderful golf course, Hillside, Southport and Ainsdale in England. Past winners of the amateur, Bobby Jones. Masters winners, Masters tournament winner, Jose Maria Olazabal, also an amateur champion.
Actually, the late great Peter Ellis was a member at Hillside. He said certainly it was one of the best golf courses in the United Kingdom.
How about this shot, Colt?
I'm just really shocked that he hit this over the green here. You know, on a normal day, with not everything on the line, it's pretty straightforward. But not the easiest given the situation.
Right about now, it's a bit hard to get out of the front of your mind the chance. Perhaps you can drive down Magnolia Lane. Maybe the chance you're going to play on the 151st Open Championship. Maybe a chance you're going to play at Hillside. It is so hard to keep a weight on the front of your mind. Have another look, as Colt said, normally straightforward, but you can see, I mean, that just came out with way too much spin. Once again, needs his putter to save him.
Pays a price for that second shot. Now, Bo Jin, this looks straightforward, Colt.
It is, and that was really thought out with that second shot. Yesterday, he hit it over the green as well as playing partner TK. They both caught flyers, and he just definitely erred on the side of caution there and just hits a beautiful chip shot.
Tell you what, Frank, it isn't sexy, but course management can win you some tournaments.
Yeah, he's kept his cool.
And with more on Bo Jin, let's go back to Amanda.
Rich, you know who also was excited about that shot that Bo Jin just hit? His brother, Chang Jin, who was watching back home in California, where he now resides. It's a little after midnight there in California. I was texting with Chang Jin, asking him how nervous he was. He goes, I am way more nervous than when I was playing this tournament myself, and of course went on to win in 2015. I asked him what it would mean to Bo to go on to win, and he goes, you know, this is just going to be an unforgettable experience regardless of the outcome. That's just how great the AAC is. To have this opportunity to compete in it is something that he will treasure forever. But Bo was on Chang's bag at Augusta National for the par 3 when he won there. So imagine how great it would be for Bo to be able to invite Chang Jin to do the same. I know this would be an incredible special family moment.
Yeah, the brothers Jin. Now Harrison Crow.
Probably did not expect to have a good 25 feet for par after that tee shot. But he has made some huge putts the last few holes, Frank.
He has, but this might be asking for too much.
Oh, right in the jaws.
So Bo Jin's going to head to the 17th with a one-shot lead as Crow makes bogey here. Made 4 birdies in 5 holes. First drop shot on the backside. He's at even for the day. Bo Jin is 3 under on his round. And now they go to that 17th.
It was a good putt. I'll give him that. It's on line. I mean, it's tough to really hit this one too hard. What do they say? 2 things don't last: dogs that chase cars and people that are putting for pars.
Coming up, 129 of the most terrifying yards you will ever see, particularly with all that's on the line here.
Well, the script has flipped for the nth time. Bo Jin now back in front again by just a solitary shot. 129 yards of par 3 ahead with a flag that's just tucked on the front right. Yeah. Decisions to be made, and of course he will walk past that huge jumbotron just to verify exactly where he is. Lovely little walk across there. And then you start to look at that target. Just set out there what Amata Spring is famous for. The island green, just one of 2 in the world. Sits out on some pontoons. Beautiful view there, lovely green. Bunkered, well, it's not the bunkers really that are the issue, we know that. You miss dry land, you pay a very heavy price, especially with the championship on line. And then up ahead, 18. Water all the way down the left side for 486 yards of par 4 into the breeze today to finish. Beautiful castle in the background where the event was last night. And just to make things worse, enough breeze blowing to make even the strongest minds think, do they have the right club in their hand?
Here we go. Bo Jin, 1-shot lead, 17th hole.
.129 back into the wind, just caught a massive gust. This is heading and left and has got to go.
Oh no.
Oh my goodness.
Is that dry?
No, it is not. That splashed. You know, Frank, 129, normally a very inviting yardage, but when you feel like you're going to taste your breakfast again from this morning, it's not that fun.
He tried to give it the safety factor, went down, choked on the club, tried to flight it low. And of course that 1-shot lead now opens the door massively for Crow.
And this is the hardest the wind has blown all day.
Played the hole well though. He had a great shot here yesterday.
This one is flighted down nicely, really solid strike. And dry, most importantly.
It's only 129 yards, so Frank, it's a bit like a balance beam. If it's a foot off the ground, it's easy, but you raise it dramatically, and then it's a high wire, and you get a sense with that shot, the scope of it all, the floating green in the lake, and the floating thoughts in your head.
As we watch Song here, Grant Moore, who works with the RNA, sets up the Open Championship. I asked him why they went with the short flag as we watch Song here. And one of the reasons why Grant's a good player in his own right is because a short iron, if it's mishit, it spins more. It gets caught in the breeze. So it's very, very clever.
You see the wind is whipping. And now
that one found the middle of the water.
Yeah.
You can come a comfy 10th or you can try to win putt.
Exactly. He was going inside.
As they say in Australia, he's got his mates around him.
No, he came. Stanford won 2 out of.
Yeah, okay.
3.
Got him.
Trying to be the third Australian to win this championship. And Colt, the drop zone's not exactly up by the green either.
No, it's just over 100 yards. And I mean, it's not an easy shot. As you know, I mean, the pin's tucked over on the right, the wind's blowing, your mind's going a million miles an hour. This is on a nice line, might need to get down a little bit. All right, still has a chance for 4.
18's no picnic either, Frank.
Hardest hole on the golf course, Rich. Just 2 birdies at 18 so far today and playing more than half a shot over par.
You miss this kind of stress, Frank?
No.
So they're going to take that little boat right there. Short ride over to the green. I know that it'll be an entirely pleasant one for Bo Jin.
Crow had the overnight lead, lost it early. It looked like he'd lost the championship out in 39. Somehow on that little cart ride to the 10th tee, he found something. And there's a great chance to perhaps take the lead going to 18.
Also from the drop zone, this is a Min Hyuk Song.
Yeah,
very nice shot there.
Richards again. I remember 10 years ago here, line coming up 18, hit 2 woods just short of the green to the right, had to pitch to about 5 or 6 feet. And make that to win by 1 shot. But one more look at a shot Bo would like to have over.
Might have been one time, Frank, where you'd have liked him to back off, as he'd been doing over the last few days.
And Frank, we've talked about it all week. I mean, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you hardly see anybody hit it in the water. This kind of pressure, it's just, it changes a golf swing.
See anything here, Frank?
Well, the only thing I'll say, I agree with you, Rich. He didn't back off. I mean, it's the same type of shot he's played. He's choked down. I mean, the ball just got up on him. That's more than anything.
He's done a pretty good job controlling his flight.
Exactly. So it's the same type of shot. But that breeze, you see the flow, breeze just going a little right to left into. It's still a big miss because he missed on that left side. Not much chatter there right now.
Just a remarkable property, what they were able to do, and to drain the lake and then build it out. Get all the undulations. This hole alone costing Chairman Yao in the neighborhood of $1 million. He said to me last night, golf's made him a little bit poor. He was joking. He's done very well in his lifetime. Rags to riches story. He said, without golf, I wouldn't have nearly as many friends.
Yeah. Well, I think they wanted to up the ante. You know, they've had big championships here back to 1975 when the World Cup was played. That was won by Lou Graham and Johnny Miller. I think Johnny Miller won the individual by about 10 shots. That was at Navatani Golf Club. You know, Subang is another golf course here. Blue Canyon.
Isn't that where Tiger ran down Ernie Els?
Correct.
Johnny Walker in 1998.
Came from 8 back, beat him in a playoff. But this is now considered Thailand's jewels when it comes to golf courses. And already developing some great history in a very, very short period of time. Opened in 2005.
LPGA's played here. They've had Asian Tour events. The Royal Trophy that Seve was behind right here at Amata Spring. Mike McKenna and his staff, Mike's the GM, they've done a sensational job after all the rain they had just presenting this golf course, and it's shown beautifully. And it's been an excellent test. All right. So again, just to reset, Bo Jin came to this 17th hole with a one-shot lead, knocks it in the water, just 129 yards, goes to the drop zone, knocks it safely aboard, but he needs to make this putt for a bogey. Meanwhile, Crow is on 2 putts for his par, so he could walk out of here leading by 1.
He's got a good 35 feet moving from his left to right. I think he would gladly take 2 putts and get back on the boat.
A young guy that began playing at age 3. Public course called Bardwell Valley, just a few miles from the Sydney International Airport. Taught by the head professional there, Ross Forsyth. Long ways from Sydney now. Trying to go Sydney, Thailand, Augusta National.
But Frank, a lot like what we see at TPC Sawgrass every year, no lead is safe when you have a hole like this. What an effort.
Excellent lag putt to guarantee his 3. And like TPC Sawgrass, Colt, where you're one of the course record holders, there's an 18th hole to get your attention after this one. But Bo has the slight advantage going to 18. He's putted every day. Harrison Crow's played the 18th hole 1 over so far for the championship. That run from 11 through to 15. 4 birdies in a space of 5 holes. Something the 21-year-old can be proud of.
Bo Jin out for bogey.
I mean, this is just massive. Trying to just drop 1 shot and stay tied for the lead. In the land of 1,000 smiles, I think we just lost one.
Double bogey for Bo Jin at 17. He'll go to the final hole 1 back.
Yeah, his first double bogey of the week.
Take a breath, regroup. And Min Hyuk Song. And he too will walk out of here with a double bogey. Well outside the top 5.
Things can happen on these 2 holes. Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool that they can both have a little chat. One more hole to go. 486 yards of par 4, water down the left. That caught Harrison Crow on Friday when he made bogey. 2 beautifully placed bunker down that right side. 275. That's going to play a lot longer because this is going back into the breeze. Somehow you desperately want to find that fairway. And then the second shot, still one of the hardest on the golf course because the water and the waterfall on the left side creeps very close to the left edge of the green. 3's nearly impossible today with that hole tucked in the left. So what Harrison Ford would give with a 4, and obviously Bo Jin to a 4 there. You never know, that might even be enough to tie.
Bo Jin's made par all 3 days at the 18th. Frank referenced it. Crow made a bogey on Friday, 2 pars, the other 2 rounds.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to have that little bit of support, Frank.
fellow Australians. I mean, they've had a good contingent. Six players from Australia made the cut. Jeff Guan is second best Australian. He was in with 9 under. Carl Phillips finished at 7 under. Connor McKinney, we saw him last year, 3 under. Joshua Green, even par. Yeah, to watch their fellow countrymen perhaps pick up the trophy.
And he is definitely not driven at his best today, Frank, so this is a nervy tee shot.
One swing, one shot.
Yes, Marty.
Oh, he loves it.
He piped it, ripped the tee out of the ground. Go ahead,
Best
young
swing of the day
fella.
right there.
You think about 18 at Sawgrass with all that water left, and reminiscent of what McIlroy did a few years ago when he won the Players' Championship and just blistered a tee shot in that final hole. Bo Jin has to respond. And he does.
That's really impressive under this amount of pressure, guys.
Two great tee shots.
Look at that. That's Rayhan Thomas. That's his teammate at Oklahoma State. Rayhan didn't make the cut. A wonderful player, great personality from India. That's a nice scene right there. You like that action, Frank?
Yeah, it's a good smooth swing. It's one a lot of people at home can copy. We finished up with 3 gorgeous tee shots down 18.
So this is a championship won by Hideki Matsuyama, who went on to win the Masters. There's a little bit of poetry in motion right here. Clutch tee shot. 1-shot lead. 1 hole. It is Harrison Crow trying to close in and lift that trophy at the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. To the 18th hole here at Amata Spring in Chonburi. It's Suzuki to get to 10 under. That was for solo third. Tied with Jeff Guan of Australia. But as it is, another good performance by Japan. Did not even travel. The #1 ranked amateur in the world, Taiga Semikawa, had scheduling conflict back in Japan. He will turn professional next week. Player to keep an eye on, as is Harrison Crow, heading towards his ball in the fairway. Just a sensational drive and a one-shot lead now after Bo Jin knocked it in the water at 17 and made double.
You think players aren't superstitious, Rich? He always uses the same ball marker, the same pitch repairer, but always puts his tees in his right pocket and never uses a ball with a number 4 on it. I tell you, he would dearly just like to make 4 here at 18. Harrison Crow.
Min Hyuk Song. He's in a big log jam, tied for 5th at 8 under.
He has 212 yards playing, close to 225 back into this wind. Oh my, what a golf shot that is. Bo Jin, just do that.
That was special right there. To give you an idea, you know, what they're facing here at 18. That water left and the pressure everywhere. All right, Bo Jin needs a great one.
199. This is just right of the hole. Oh, smashed it. Might be some adrenaline there.
He got all that.
Still, it's not too bad. It's not wet. It's not that far away. It's going to force Crow to hit a shot.
How about that tee shot Crow hit? Has just 181 left. That thing was hammered.
Colt turned 21 just 15 days ago. Life changes quick, doesn't it?
He's one good swing away from booking his trip to Augusta National in the Open Championship. Quick wipe of the palms. Rather sweaty right now, I could imagine. Oh, this is pulled left. This could find the hazard. Oh my, just covers.
By the thin of his teeth there. I mean, there was a yard in there, left and long, and somehow stays dry.
Just a terrible mistake right there. One shot lead. Bo Jin's a little bit long. No guarantee to make his 4.
Right
to
down the wire.
Rely on that short game. We started this week, Frank, with 120 players from 38 countries and territories throughout Asia and the Pacific. Life-changing opportunity for one of these two. Chance to earn that invitation to the Masters. Spot in the 151st Open next summer at Royal Liverpool. And this is really what it's all about for these two guys who want to play at the next level, is dealing with the immense pressure.
Well, unlike their professional counterparts, I mean, second place plays a lot on a professional event. It's a lot for that. This is 1 or nothing. Really?
Just curious, Colt, if you had a chance to size up any of these shots. Let's just quickly take another look. What went wrong here, Frank?
You see that ball turn in the air? He likes to cut it, so he had to start up more on a direct line, and this is just a little quick with the top. And normally when you pull it, it goes a little further. If that did not go further, it was wet.
All right, let's see if Colt's had a chance to size up these two shots.
I mean, neither of them are very easy. very little green to work with both of them. Bose, once it gets to about where he's standing right now, goes straight downhill. But the good news is he's coming from the fairway where Harrison is going to be coming from the rough, so a little less predictable. Frank, it's so hard to prepare for this moment. You have no idea how your body's going to react. I mean, Harrison hasn't hit an iron shot like that all day.
You know, you've won two of America's biggest amateur events, the Publix and the U.S. Amateur, the same year. I mean, it's when you're new to the big stage, you have feelings that your body's not always used to.
You're exactly right. And I mean, until you're there, you just don't know how you're going to react. And I mean, you hear players and caddies talk about it all the time on the PGA Tour. They're like, you know, we got to play for a little bit of adrenaline here.
He's trying to find a landing spot because it's not flat. I mean, it's just little undulations. This ball's got a pitch.
Anything that gets a little past and right of this hole could catch the slope and go down to the lower level, so I think he needs to play this out to the left a little bit.
He has a one-shot lead.
Looks like he's trying to find a landing spot, about six feet short of the green.
Yeah, he definitely has to land this short of the green. If he flies this onto the putting surface, it's gone. How good is this, guys?
A fantastic shot. There's no certainty. It forces Bo Jin to likely have to make this next shot to tie and send it to a playoff. What a shot that was, Frank.
And just a massive sigh of relief from Harrison right there. Huge breath.
Still 4 feet past.
And we've seen Bo chip pretty much every time he's been off the green this week, but this one, it's just so severely downhill. I like going with the putter here.
Yeah, not wasting any time.
Barely speeds up. He'll get to putt before Crow.
Rather do that? Put the pressure on?
No, not really. You'd like it to be stone dead if you weren't going to make the three. These next minute or two are going to be a little nervy.
A little?
That drive down Magnolia Lane's pretty nice. Do it for the first time. Jump on a plane, Open Championship. Oldest trophy in golf.
He can't be thinking that. Not yet, Frank. We can. He can't. What did you do, Frank, to settle your mind if it began to race?
You can't. You just have to try and breathe as we watch Song. I mean, sometimes all the tricks, they just don't work. You just got to
jump.
You got to trust. I mean, it's not going to go away.
You can try to block them out, but I think the best players in the world just accept it, and they just know how to react to it.
You're nervous because you care.
All right, so Bo Jin has to make this and then hope that Harrison Crow misses. In that case, they'd be tied. Showed some moxie right there. May not be the result that he ultimately wants, but he stood tall at the end. Just one unfortunate moment there back at 17.
His run in this championship is still great. Never ever shot over par in 3 championships.
He was 8th and 3rd in Dubai a year ago. And now here, as Team Australia looks on, one of their own. This is a guy who has really enjoyed traveling with his mates to the UK this past summer, to the United States to compete, and it has really served him well. So Harrison Crow now, this to win the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. Yes, indeed, that was some up and down. And Harrison Crow of Australia is the 2022 Asia Pacific Amateur Champion. And he has earned the invitation to the Masters at a spot in the 151st Open next summer at Royal Liverpool. Heartbreak for Bo Jin.
Thanks, bro. I got your hat. I know. That's champ.
Third Australian to win this prestigious title. Antonio Murdaka did it in 2014. Curtis Luck in 2016. And now Harrison Crow. Frankie, he put his round back together after going out in 3 over 39.
Yeah, it looked lost. And then that stretch from 11 through to 15, 4 birdies in the space of 5 holes.
Oh, wet shit. You'll be wet. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Thank you.
What a great year it's been. They were referenced the New South Wales, the New South Wales Open, the New South Wales Amateur, and of course denied by COVID. This was his first ever start. So Australia trying to get back on the golfing mat at the highest level.
Yeah, big for a proud golfing country. You know that, having competed quite a bit down under.
And I think even more sweeter because it was announced earlier in the week that Royal Melbourne will host next year, so they will be able to celebrate their champion. But I mean, hats off to the way they played 18. Bo Jin and Harrison Crow.
You saw timer Hassan Amin right there from the Asia Pacific Golf Confederation congratulating this man, Harrison Crow. He's off to the Masters in April, then the Open at Royal Liverpool where Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods have won, and then the 128th Amateur Championship at Hillside. It, in the most beautiful way, Frank, it changes a young man's life, changes their schedule.
Well, the back 9, I mean, it was one. This putt, too, was so solid. The chip before, too, I think was just was wonderful. But you could see the heart. I mean, there was a couple there on the back 9, a couple of 10, 15 footers that he made. Oddly enough, and I've got to bring up the name Cameron Smith, it reminded me of the way he played the back 9 at St Andrews this year. So Australia, they got him strong.
Smith was a factor in the tournament that was played here 10 years ago, won
Very
by
much so.
Qianlong Guan. This has proven to be a springboard to great things for a number of players like Smith and Matsuyama. For the moment, though, he'll savor what he's done here in Thailand and begin to look forward to the Masters and the Open, the Amateur. Was the birdie at 13, then the putt at 14, another one at 15. He really answered the bell. Dropped the shot at 16, but did what he had to do at 17. When his opponent with the tee, with the honor, knocked it in the water, he stood up and put it on the green. 2 putts, got out of there with the 3, and Bo Jin made the double bogey there. So the signature hole here at Amata Spring proving, as we thought it might, proving to be the pivotal hole. Unfortunate for Bo Jin. It's another close call. But it is Harrison Crow. Big celebration tonight, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. And when we come back, we'll have the trophy presentation here at Amata Spring.
All right, Rich, I'm coming back with billboard. Counting out to the break. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 to billboard. 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Asia Pacific Amateur Championship is brought to you by UPS. Be bold, be brave, be unstoppable. 3M Science, applied to life. Delta, keep climbing. And by Rolex. So it's Harrison Crow with a tough par from long and left at the final hole, winning the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. We'll take you back to 17. Bo Jin standing on this tee with a one-shot lead, 129 yards, gust of wind, and there goes the championship.
You have all the shots, all the good shots. He hit into the breeze. The one time he let his guard down, and he paid a very heavy price.
You can see that wind was whipping right there. He made double bogey, and there's the winning putt for Harrison Crow. Australia, of all the countries in this championship with the richest golf heritage, they've been caught and in some cases surpassed by Japan, and at least, you know, at the elite amateur level, not at the professional level, caught by China. But now they've responded, and a third Australian champion of this event after Murdaka at Royal Melbourne, and we'll go there next October. Curtis Luck, who also won a U.S. Amateur Championship in 2016, and now another chapter in Aussie Links lore. It is Harrison Crow. And time now for the presentation. Let's go down to Amanda Renner.
Thanks, Rich. Another incredible championship with an incredibly worthy champion in Harrison Crow. But first, I want to thank our founding partners at the Asia Golf Confederation, the R&A, and of course, the Masters Tournament. None of this would be possible without all of you behind us. Harrison, you told me yesterday this one was on your bucket list because this is the place you could prove that you belong. Not only do you belong, what does it feel like to now be the best?
I don't think it's sunk in yet, but it feels amazing right now. I came out here this week with something to prove, and I'm extremely proud of myself the way I hung in there today.
You had to dig deep. You did not get off to the start that you wanted, but the perseverance paid off. Can you explain what it takes internally to push through and never give up on yourself and now become the champion?
It took a lot. It took a lot of digging deep there, and obviously had a great chat with my dad and coach and manager out there to kind of help me along. But yeah, I'm extremely proud of myself, as I said, and had to dig really deep, and yeah.
I know it's been a tough couple years for everybody around the world, but especially in places like Australia where you have not gotten the chance to go out and play. And now in 2023, you will be teeing it up at the Masters, at the Open Championship. When I say those words to you, what comes to mind?
Goosebumps, absolute goosebumps. It's a bit hot to get big ones, but they're there. It's just, it's amazing. It's really surreal. There's so many people out here today, and to have my dad and so many other family and friends out here today has just been awesome, absolutely awesome.
An incredible moment. Celebrate. Chairman, now is the time for you to hoist the trophy. Back to you, Rich.
Yeah, taking the trophy from the head of the Asia Pacific Golf Confederation, that's Timer Hassan Amin. They've done so much to elevate the game in this region.
It's only just a one shot, I would say.
What a special moment for Harrison Crow. His dad, Tony, mentioned is here, mom, Shauna, and the whole family. So he's the third from Australia. You think about what that country has produced, Frank, and this is a big moment for Australia. Everybody in this region, really around the world of golf, knows the importance of this championship. Harrison Crow wins it by 1 over a disappointed but game Bo Jin of China. We'll come back with the final thoughts in just a moment from Thailand. Said we love this game for where it can take you, from Thailand to Augusta National and the Masters to Royal Liverpool next summer for the Open. And that's where Harrison Crow is headed. There's nothing like it. Springtime in Georgia, where Australian Adam Scott won. It'll be the 10-year anniversary coming up next April. And then Royal Liverpool, new par 3, they made some changes there. And Harrison Crow will be competing in that 151st Open. He'll also get to play in the 128th Amateur Championship, not far from Liverpool at Hillside. He does it, with a gritty round of even par 72. He started the day right there with that lead at 13 under, cobbled together a round and comes out with a win. Let's go down to Paul Gow.
Yeah, I'm here with Martin Slumbers of the RNA. And Martin, what a fabulous week. What have you made of this week?
Well, it's terrific. I mean, we started with some dodgy weather on Thursday, and it evolved and matured. We had Kyrgyzstan, Nepal make the cut for the first time. And then we saw, I thought it was some wonderful last 9 holes of golf here. And, for me, we've seen some of the players attain, and they've got better and better, and some of them aspire to win. And I think we had that last group was some really wonderful golf, and how the two of the guys got up and down at the last shows how good they are.
It certainly was. Now, what are you most proud of with this 13th year of this event?
I think what we're most proud of is we celebrate the winner. And, in amateur golf, the winner takes all. I mean, he's got the wonderful opportunity to play in the Masters and the Open Championship come July. But actually what I really look at is that the sort of the bottom half of the field. And the bottom half of the field in this 13 years has got better and better. I mean, the cut was level par this week. I think it was 3 under, 3 over when we were last here. And we're seeing the whole region get better and better at this top level. And it means we can put the golf courses harder and harder. And I think it becomes just a better championship.
Well, Martin, you're doing a great job. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well done, Martin Slumbers, everybody at the RNA, and as well, Augusta National. So, Frank, this is the golden ticket. This is that carrot you've talked about, and it has really inspired people all across the region. So this is the final leaderboard. Japan running tied for third after having won 2 of the previous 3 Asia Pacific Amateur Championships. Pretty good showing for Thailand. They started with the most players in the field, 11. And Lau Pakdi is their highest finisher. We know we haven't seen the last of TK Chantunanawat, having won a professional event on the Asian Tour, just 15, and absolutely loaded with talent and personality. James Liao of Singapore was in the mix in the early going and then backed off. Recent graduate of Arizona State, won the Pacific Coast Amateur earlier this year. Connor McKinney of Australia, there for his teammate who won it all. Jeff Guan gives Australia a second player inside the top 5. There it is. That's the winner. That's one he'll replay for the rest of his days. Part of the reason you love this game is that sportsmanship, no matter how disappointed you are. And Jin had to be gutted there after having held the lead. But you take your cap off and you say well done to the man who was just a little bit better. Well, we leave here with immense gratitude and appreciation. And thanks to Amata Spring founder and chairman Andrew Yao, the general manager Mike McKenna, and all the gracious people here in Thailand. From Augusta National, with its unwavering commitment to amateur golf, Chairman Ridley, the R&A continuing to forge new paths around the world, led by Chief Executive Martin Slumbers. And once again, from the Asia Pacific Golf Confederation, Timer Hassan Amin. Kudos to Sellers, Shy, and Mike Crow, leading all of the hardworking women and men in the truck and on the ground. For Frank Nobilo, Colt Nose, Paul Gow, and Amanda Renner, I'm Rich Lerner. So long from Thailand, where Harrison Crow has won the 2022 Asia Pacific Championship.